So imagine investing $1,000. You're deciding between two strong companies, Apple and Microsoft. You check their prices. Apple is trading at about $250 and Microsoft at about $350. On the surface, Microsoft looks like the more expensive stock, but it's not. I started my 20s broke and formally reached millionaire status in the second half of my 20s. But before I was lucky enough to get a top-tier MBA, I made this mistake as well. The mistake of deciding whether a stock is expensive or not purely based on the stock price. And this cost me over $500,000. I simply thought high stock price means expensive and low stock price means cheap. Wrong. Let me explain. Imagine you're hungry and walking down the street. You see a pizza place on your left and you see a pizza place on the right. Both of them sell pizzas by the slice. One sells the slice for $4 and the other sells the slice for $3. It seems natural that the $4 slice is more expensive than the $3 slice because 4 is greater than 3. But what if the $4 slice is 1/4 of the pizza and the $3 slice is 1/8 of the pizza? Meaning you'd have to take two $3 slices to create that one $4 slice. So the $3 slice is actually more expensive. Something very similar to this happens with stocks. So here's what most people don't realize when it comes to the stock price. The stock price doesn't really tell you much about how expensive a stock is. That answer lies in a different metric. Take Netflix, for example. Today, during the end of March, Netflix is trading at roughly $90. But back in November of 2025, Netflix was trading at over $1,000 a share. But in this time period, Netflix stock didn't crash. Instead, back in November of 2025, Netflix announced a 10-for-1 stock split. Meaning if one evening you had one stock of Netflix at $1,000, the next morning you would have 10 stocks of Netflix, each valued at about $100. So if you just use the stock price to determine whether the stock is expensive or not, yesterday you might have seen a $1,000 price tag and you'll think, oh, Netflix is expensive. But today when you see the $100 price tag, it doesn't feel expensive anymore. But in reality, nothing has changed. It's the same company, same people, same product, same revenue. But still today, the stock price feels cheaper. So here's the reality, and this is what you need to do before you buy any stock. You need to check the PE ratio. This stands for the price to earnings ratio. Here's how it works. The PE ratio tells you how much you are paying for every $1 the company earns. A lower number indicates that the stock is cheaper, and a higher number indicates that the stock is expensive or a lot of growth is already baked into the stock. So in our original example, Microsoft, while trading at $350 a share, has a PE ratio of 22. Apple, on the other hand, while it's trading at a smaller amount of $250 a share, has a PE ratio of 31. So in simple terms, you're paying $22 for each dollar that Microsoft earns, but paying $31 for each dollar that Apple earns, which is a 30% premium for Apple on a PE basis. Which means that even though the price of one Apple share is lower than Microsoft's by $100, it is actually the more expensive stock. This is exactly why the PE ratio matters more than just the raw stock price. Because with the stock split, we can change that stock price overnight. Now, the PE ratio isn't a perfect metric either, and there's no one magical metric that tells you everything about a company. But it is a much better starting point than the raw stock price by itself. So the lesson here is that the price of one stock actually tells you nothing about a business's health. It's the price to earnings ratio that is a much better indicator of the value of the company. So please stop mistaking a high stock price for a high company valuation. A very highly valued company can have a low stock price, and a fairly low valued company can still have a very high stock price. So before you buy your next stock, please closely check the PE ratio and compare it to other competing companies in the same industry or domain. Because personal finance is not really about hard work or how many transactions you make. It is about getting a small number of financial decisions really right and with very high decision quality. So to improve the quality of your financial decisions, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.